Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wayne's World of Science and Technology, where I try and break down a few things. Let's talk fighter jets. A lot of people have been looking at the fighter jet situation. Basically, they don't quite understand what's going on because, quite frankly, it's complex as hell. Uh, there are a couple of ways to simplify this. Sorry, folks, the dog is dragging me around again. First, stealth is one option you've got to work towards. Stealth makes it harder for your opponent to see you. But you can actually achieve stealth in different ways. Another way of achieving it is through electronic warfare means, which is what the Gripen and the newer marks of F-16 do. And for that matter, newer marks of F-15. The problem with doing it by electronic warfare is that electronic warfare is noticeable, whereas a stealth plane isn't. So if you were flying a stealth plane over a place that you wanted to surveil, you could do it quite easily without the enemy knowing, possibly, basically based on what type of radars they have. Whereas with a Gripen or an F-16 with EW, you're not going to know it's there. You may not know exactly where it is in the sky, but you're going to know it's there. And that's the advantage that stealth gives you. In a fighting environment, EW is not quite as useful as stealth because, again, it's going to be bloody visible that you're there. Whereas with a lot of radars, stealth won't get picked up. But it's also a hell of a lot less expensive. Think of the airframe changes, modifications that you have to make stealth work. You have to angle the sides of the plane to knock the radar, basically reflect the radar waves away from the transmitter, which means you've got to have a pretty decent idea where the transmitter is going to be placed. And you have to engineer around that. And quite frankly, when you do that sort of thing, you're going to have to make massive changes to your airframe. It's going to add extra weight with the stealth coatings and all this sort of stuff. So you end up gaining in some places, you're less visible, but you lose in others. If you go with the EW option, you're more visible, but it's a hell of a lot less expensive and maybe more sustainable in the long term, because up till present they've been having problems with the stealth coatings eroding. And eventually that let's face it, that's an engineering problem. Eventually somebody will fix it, but we don't know when, and we don't know how efficient the new coating will be and all that sort of stuff. It's something that no one can answer until the actual in-service thing actually hits and we actually get data, which we won't, because let's face it, that sort of stuff tends to be top secret and they hide as much as possible. It really puts a kink in planning for various militaries. If you plan to fight against a stealth fighter fleet, you're going to be planning to use the specialized radar spectrum that can detect stealth fighters. And yes, there are bands that will detect a stealth fighter, even with all the stealth coatings. And use that to get an idea where the fighter is, in general terms, and then try and localize it using different systems. Usually IR, because IR doesn't really give a damn about stealth. Though, of course, you can also build your planes to be less IR detectable. When you go with the EW approach, well, yeah, you're going to be bloody noticeable all over the place, but again, you can't be localized. From a combat point of view, whether it's stealth or EW, doesn't really matter. What matters is whether or not your airplane can be targeted. If your airplane can't be targeted, you're golden. you can go in and do what you want. Well, it's assuming, of course, that your sensors are working, which they may not be because the enemy's going to be doing the same thing. And that's why we're seeing some of the weird stuff we're seeing actually in Ukraine right now. The Ukrainian F-16s have been supplied with EW systems, which are pretty good. And as a partial response, the Russians appear to have moved a good chunk of their Su-57 Felon fleet to the Ukrainian area. They may not be as stealthy as an F-22, but they're stealthier than an F-16, that's for bloody sure. So we could end up seeing a F-16 Su-57 dogfight. That would be really interesting. But we're not likely to, for the very simple reason that both sides are using EWACS, and I don't really think that the Ukrainians are going to let their F-16s get far enough out to get in danger, and the Russians aren't going to let their Su-57s get that far out in danger. It doesn't make sense for either because they just have too damn few of them. Oh, and finally, what really comes down to is, in the long term, it's survivability. And when I say survivability, if your pilot survives the thing that brings down their airplane and you get them back, you just saved yourself 10 years of training. And if you think I'm joking, yeah, the Ukrainian Air Force managed to get pilots into F-16s in bloody record time, but quite frankly, these people had some experience before mostly. And even they are basically learning on the job because, yeah, they've had training on the planes, but training is one thing. Actually flying the plane is a totally different thing. And it doesn't matter how much simulator time you get. If you don't have real world flying time, you aren't going to get the plane. Anyway, that's it for today. Sorry, I've been rambling a little bit. It's been an interesting morning with the dog being a total pain in the neck. Yes, Loki, I'm talking about you. And have a good day, folks. See you later.